You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam, and I'm your host. And today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors.
Now on to technology news, where rumours are flying fast about the latest model of autonomous constructed assistant produced by Quell Futurism Engineering. The scuttlebutt is that the prototype of this model, known internally as Moroi, may be showing cognitive abilities similar to the droids described in the records immediately following our arrival on Sanctaris. When asked about this, Chief Engineer and Company founder Churi Quell had this to say: "We all grew up on stories of the fantastic creations of our originators, artificial beings which could think for themselves and assist in a variety of tasks which we biological creatures simply cannot do. The computing and processing power of these droids was unbelievable, and the achievements our originators were able to make, including the very ship which brought us here in the first place, could not have happened without the help of these droids. I have always wanted to push the boundaries of what was possible when it came to engineering and the creation of assistants, and that is why I founded Quell Futurism Engineering 30 years ago. Our earliest model of semi-autonomous heavy industry constructed assistants, the Apidae, made our name and revolutionized construction. Our smaller exploration-themed constructed assistants have become standard equipment for Horizon League digs and Shadow Vanguard outpost development, and of course the jewel in the crown is our administrative and communications model Katip, which is the first of our semi-autonomous models to have full language recognition and programmable task responses. In the 4 years since the Katip model was launched, we have not been idle here, and it is true there have been further breakthroughs in parallel processing and crystal chain-driven decision loops. It is also true that we have been working on a new model, known internally as the Moroi, which utilizes these developments. As to whether this is our first truly autonomous constructed assistant, possessing what we would consider the ability to actually think for itself, it is too soon to say any more on that front, and my lawyers would have strong words for me if I did. All I will say is that I am very excited for next year's Grand Inventors Exhibition, and you should be too. Quell Futurism Engineering have long been at the forefront of autonomous constructed assistants, and I am sure we are all very interested to find out what they have been up to. The Grand Inventors Exhibition has not yet had the date set, but it will once again be at the Prime Expo Hall in Valentir City on the beautiful Bramarian coast. Moving now to music news, and the famed composer Mirachov is due to perform his latest concerto as the highlight of the Grand Proms, held later this week in Hanashak. The size of the orchestra pit is having to be expanded due to the unorthodox use of...
Hi everybody, it's me, Mikey. I'm running a game. We're on episode 5 now. Yeah, it's very exciting. Well, I'm finding it very exciting, and I hope you are too. With me is all of the players, who are the ones that stop me from just muttering into a microphone by myself in a room, which technically is what I'm doing right now, but I get feedback, which is great. So I'm going to introduce those players to you, and I'm going to start with Ed.
Of course you are, because I wasn't prepared at all.
Well, it's fine. I said I was going to introduce the players to them. But no, if you want to go for it. You introduce yourself.
Oh, blimey. Hi, my name is Ed, and I play the character of Captain Heek. He is a Tynan, which means he's a cute beaver person, and he is an engineer of the Shadow Vanguard, which is a very dramatic name for a bunch of explorer engineers.
Hi, I'm Lou. I'm playing Kuro Arak, who is a Shistavanan doer of all things.
Hi, I'm Ross. I play Savriel Sai, a Nautilus soldier shooter, or person who just shot that big thing in the face last time.
I am Adam, and I am playing Rakeo Balazari, a Miraluka sage, a Kalanat priest of the Church of Neridia.
So we come back to the action, and the majority of you are currently in the solarium, which is littered with artifacts and various different things, with 5 of these creatures dead at your feet. But we're not going to focus on you at the moment. We're going to go back to the kitchen, where, Adam, you are with the rest of the group. The mighty heroes of the solarium have just about left. You've heard the door click, and everybody's just sitting there in silence. Only slightly permeated every so often by the coughing of Lord LaRue.
Okay, everybody. While our three companions are up there retrieving Lambert's notes from the solarium, when the gallant captain is getting ready to draw away these creatures, we need to make ourselves ready to run for it as soon as we get the signal. So please, take a moment to gather your thoughts and gather your breath. Still your fears. We are safe here for the moment. We have our protectors such as the bold Captain Sato over there. We will get through this. The storm may be raging, but the light of the moons shines on us. Be at peace. Gather your thoughts. And gather your courage, my friends. Now, I require some volunteers. Captain Sato, I imagine you will wish to go first out of the door, in case there is any threat waiting for us on the other side that Captain Heek has not yet managed to drag away. Is this acceptable?
He nods. Mrs. Tolvin says, I'll back him up. Adam, before you go any further, and I don't want to break the flow, but what I wanted you to do is roll me a leadership roll.
Absolutely. I'm going to flip a light side point.
Uh-huh.
And what's the difficulty, please, Mikey?
I would say it is 2, but I'm going to give you a setback because everybody's quite scared.
Okay, I get to remove that setback
Cool.
through Kill with Kindness.
Excellent.
A success and a triumph.
Nice. So the success, you can clearly see your words are calming people down, giving people jobs, helping people to focus on something other than the situation they're in. What would you like your triumph to be?
I think that even in the heart of all this, at the moment while everything's going on and people are worried, the rivalries between churches gets put to one side.
Yeah.
And Lady Vale, who would otherwise be taking this opportunity, I think, to try to score points or undermine me a little bit, or try to instead take charge herself and assert the dominance of her church and possibly take the notes, is content to back me up in this and realises that this is not a time for sectarianism. We all need to pull together. And so, she's much more influential than I am here. So I think that she throws that influence behind me to try and get everybody on their feet. It's a shame in a way that there's not a threat too, because I imagine that if anything goes wrong, she will be parlaying that against me down the line. But for the moment, she's content to put politics aside and help me.
Very, very much. She doesn't back down because that would show her as being weak, and therefore her power to help you would be reduced, but she does back you up.
Yeah.
Not in any specific way, other than when you say things, the air is permeated with her saying, I agree, or yes, that's a good. So she is, I'm not going to add them in there, but you can hear her.
Yeah.
Just verbally backing up any statement that you make. She's seemingly, because she was focused on prayer before, she's seemingly really trying to focus on action now. So you feel that maybe she'll back up anybody right now that speaks, but you've taken control with your leadership role there. So do carry on.
When Koro returns, I will be asking them to assist the doctor in making sure Lambert is movable from here, because obviously, no offense, my friend, but you are suffering from whatever malignant influence afflicted you when you revealed the gem. I will be going in the middle of the group because I need the rest of you around to guide me where we are going. I am sorry that I will be a burden upon you, but what I require are volunteers so that when our Northland friend and Koro return, we need to get this door open and the barricade out of the way as quickly as possible so that Captain Sato can make sure that our way out is clear and remove any obstacles that remain there. I would imagine our Northland friend will be taking up the rear, both because he has a long rifle and because I want somebody with a gun at the front and back of our little troop as we go out of here. But we have gotten this far despite overwhelming odds and assaults by creatures we had no concept even shared the world with us, and we will get further. The storm is only weather. We will get through this together, my friends. be strong und have faith.
Sato reaches over and takes his hand off the gun, which he's holding in two hands, reaches over and puts his hand on your shoulder and says, yeah, we're going to get through this. And clearly at that point he is deferring to you. It looks like the room, even though it's not said, sees you as the leader of the escape.
Now, until our friends come back, let us pray. And I begin to lead them in a simple prayer of strength and blessings from the Church of Neridia, although I will weave into that some Romenan prayers as well, because although I am specifically a priest of the goddesses of the moon, like, I am still a priest. I am aware of the dominant faith, and I'm aware of their, in the same way that, you know, I imagine ministers of one faith could at least say some basic prayers in another, like the common stuff. So
as you bring up the Church of Remian, the sun, Vale picks up from you that and embellishes on it, not taking the focus away from you, but backing you up with that thing. So she, when she sees an opening to talk about her faith, she will talk about light will guide us, everything like that. But then she shuts up again to allow you to continue.
I give her a nod as one priest to another, effectively that nod of respect. Mm-hmm. And between the two of us, I think we're just trying to bolster everybody's resolve, really, and get ready so that when the rest of the group come back, we are good to go in an orderly fashion with as minimal panic as possible.
Thorncrest doesn't seem as taken with your leadership skills as everybody else, and you hear her mutter just as you start the prayer, well, at least we now have a plan and know exactly how we're going to die.
I hear that, but I don't let on.
She doesn't push it any further than that. She's clearly quite scared and is dealing with that in the only way she knows, like by pessimism.
Yeah, snarky. That's fine.
Adam, roll me a perception check. Difficulty 1. And it's not eye-based, so...
A failure, but an advantage.
Okie dokie. I don't know what you can do with the advantage, because I can't tell you what you failed on.
I'm going to regain the strain that I'm down as my prayers bolster my own reserves as well. It starts as being an act to try and get everybody else calmed down, but the simple articles of faith have a calming effect on me as well, so I will take back the strain that I was down as my advantage.
Okay. I'm going to nip back to the guys in the solarium now. It is relatively quiet. The storm is beating outside. The creatures lie dead. What is your plan?
I would like to start scanning the room for the bits that we need. I'll just turn to the other two. So there.
Tool up, gentlemen.
Okay, the room is filled with artifacts and books and weird curios. You're looking specifically for the diary, so you're going to the desk, Lou.
Yep.
Where is everybody else going?
I turn round to the valet and say, if there's anything you want me to take off site now, show me, and I'll take it with me.
Let me search through, see what's here, what's valuable, and what you can carry. Do you want to call Apidae?
I am about to do that. I'm going to open a window. But yes, I can't carry much, but anything you don't want to go missing in a fire, put in my charge. And I'll go over to the window.
Yep.
Open the appropriate bit of the building, essentially, and then find one of those library ladders.
Yep.
Wheel the library ladder into roughly the right place. Take out my... there's a bit of my uniform that detaches. Detach that bit of the uniform. It's this elaborate looking thing. I'm quite clearly fiddling with something on it. Attach it to a rope. And as it starts to gently smoke and stink, whip it around my head to make a low droning noise. I've clicked the clicker to summon the bee.
Yep, you do. Just describing the room, as you know, the room is surrounded on one side by glass windows. There is outside those windows a very small amount of garden, there is with a couple of like metallic garden chairs out there for a relaxing drink in the summer. So, and that is a perfect place to land the bee. Whilst there are cracks in the windows, the doors to open up into the garden have not been damaged.
In which case, I'll have opened those the Solarian doors to the garden, and if there isn't a convenient high bit already in the garden furniture, I'll have wheeled out the library ladder.
Yeah.
To do the same, and I am slowly but steadily. It's not a nice sound. It is like a low droning, insect droning sound, and the bits that you can smell from inside the building. Boy, does it stink.
Okay, right. You do that as you reach the threshold of the room and go into the garden. You are battered by the wind, and in fact, whilst you are opening the doors, the scattered remnants of artifacts, papers mostly, get whipped around where you are. The room is big; it does not really affect the desk, but there is a small whirlwind of papers as you go out and into the outside. You start off your summoning, and the light low drone, even though it is noisy out here, it permeates. You can feel the vibrations in you as you connect it to it.
Makes your teeth itch.
Yeah. It'll take a little bit of a minute or two for him to get here, but he's only on the other side of the house. You can summon him from miles around with this, so that is fine. I'll come back to you in a second. Ross, what are you looking for?
Initially, my thought is I'm going to close the door because one, there's other things going to come in and try and attack us, and two, there's a fire somewhere in the building. So I want to close the door and protect us, at least give us some warning if something else tries to join us. Also, odds are the thing that we're looking for is probably on the desk because that's what LaRue would have been last looking at rather than on a shelf. So
he did say it was on his desk at the...
Yeah, well, okay, that too. But we've also got a massive monster currently covering it. So I'm going to use my broad and just shift this thing off the desk so that in case the body is covering what we're looking for.
No, when you shot him, he flipped back over the desk. He's lying crumpled to the side. So he has scattered a few things, but he's not on the desk at the moment.
Right, okay. In that case, I'm just going to focus on what's on the desk, and I will step over the body as need be.
Yeah, that monster was definitely played by one of the stunt team because he did quite a dramatic die.
Okay, in that case, what are we looking for? I'm just what colour is what we're after? Anything, any clues that I can look for? I'm asking Lou's character more than anything, but
I would like anybody who's searching to roll me a perception check. Lou, you're going to get a boost because you've seen this diary before. Ross, you're not going to get a boost because you don't know what it is.
No. What difficulty?
Just 2.
I've got a failure and 2 threat. This has not gone well.
Okay. Right. You've got no idea what you're looking for.
No.
I think, unfortunately, Lou, he's getting in the way. It's not particularly based on stats or anything like that, but he's not helping. What did you get?
I got no successes, but 3 advantage.
Okay. It is not where you expect it to be. It is, but there are a number of other places you can roll. It's clearly not on the desk. You've looked all over it. It must be somewhere else in the room, and your companion is basically just getting in the way. You can do more searching, but...
Yeah.
The building is potentially on fire. I think we want to save some of these things, so I think one of my trying to help things is picking up artifacts which may have been acting as paperweights in the last little while as well, and occasionally putting them in pockets, or trying to. Only small things, nothing encumbersome, but...
You probably wouldn't have your bag with you because you were at dinner.
No.
But you will have pockets on your jacket which you can start putting things in. So there are 2 places it could be, Lou. It could be in the safe, which is behind one of the bookcases, or it could be in his pockets because he keeps picking stuff up and putting them in his pockets. So...
I am going to go to the safe first because I'm going to look at him with a look of undisguised irritation. Ears have gone flat, teeth are showing a little bit.
Sorry, Ross, if you'd have succeeded, that'd be great, but you failed and you don't know what you're looking for. I've been in places where people are trying to help and they don't know what they're looking for. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, I'm colouring this image in.
You go over to the bookcase that the safe is in. You've seen him do this many a time before, but you've not opened it yourself before. And you reach for the book that is entitled Mysteries of the Past.
I will stand directly in front of it so no one else can see which book I am pulling.
Yep, that is fine. You pull it and the entire wall comes away. This is the only fake book, but it just pulls away all of the rest of the books. And behind there is a relatively small safe.
I would like to attempt to open the safe. I don't know if I know the combination, but I could probably give a very good guess.
You want to spend a light side point?
Yeah, I'll spend a light side point.
Okie dokie. I'd like you still to roll me a dice. I think you know all 4 numbers, but really depends on your roll as to whether you're going to actually be get them quickly or not. And skullduggery, maybe?
I would say skullduggery.
Yeah, I could say skulldug. I could also see a vigilance for have they seen it.
Yeah, I'll go either way. If you feel that you have definitely seen this before, then I'll go vigilance. But if you feel you possibly haven't seen this and you're kind of extrapolating, then we'll go
How
skullduggery.
about perception?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. That makes sense.
Because, I've watched it enough times.
Yeah, I think with a perception roll, you're not going to know the code, but you know what to press. So once you've pressed the code, you'll be like, oh, it's 6217. But you didn't know that. You just did it by almost automatic because you've seen what he's done previously.
Did you say I was getting a boost?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what difficulty?
2 again. Sorry.
That's 3 successes.
Yeah, it's clearly the date he graduated from the Horizon League. It's a fairly obvious one if you know him, but an impossible one if you don't. So on your first try, beep, 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 and ka-chunk, and the safe is open.
It might even be the sound of it, if I know, because if it's a push button one, then I know the sound.
Oh, I quite like the idea of the first thing you do is press all 10 of the numbers just to hear what they're like. Pause for a second and then just get the right code.
Yeah, that's lovely. I really like that.
Nice, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The safe is unlocked.
I would like to sort through it, because whatever is in here is going to be valuable anyway, so...
One thing that's in here is more useful than anything else in there. There is a document bag. It is empty, but it is to the side, because in here there are a load of documents. You sort through quickly, you see the deeds to the on-fire mansion, you see the receipts for things like, the bigger things like the car that you drove and the engineering work on the airship and loads of other little things in there. You'd probably find even more if you had the time to look through it, but nestled in here is his little green diary. It is leather bound, but leather bound in not flat. There are fjords in the leather. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. It's kind of crinkly and rustic, and looks to be so. It's been used for many a years. This is clearly not the diary just for the prism. If you imagine the Indiana Jones, the Grail diary sort of thing.
It's leather that's been used so much that it's gone soft.
Yeah. Exactly. You've seen him writing this many a time when he's on adventures. You've only ever actually picked it up a few times when you've been asked to pass it over, but it feels like there's history to it. The leather almost, it's in a dry place in a safe, but the leather almost feels wet because it's so soft and malleable. And it's just, without a care in the world, nestled in with a load of other things, like deeds and birth certificates and the things that you would keep in a safe.
So the things that I am looking to take from this safe is first and foremost the diary.
Yep.
Deeds to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance documents.
Yep.
Because the house is on fire.
Yes, it is.
And his personal things like his birth certificate, the things which aren't easily replaceable, things like the receipts and that, they can stay here. But certainly diary, deeds, insurance documents.
Cool. Yeah, you took them all in the document bag. It's like a leather, a little bit bigger than A4 kind of satchel, which is used for whenever anything is taken out of the safe to put in.
And also cash if it's in there.
Yeah, it's not a fortune, but it is a small fortune.
I'm not looking for a fortune. What it is it's cash. Wherever we're going, we might just need cash.
Yeah, I haven't, unfortunately, thought what the currency is for here, but... we will make something certainly up.
It is some monies.
Yeah, you have 2 stacks of bank-tied monies, and they are 50s on the side. That's to show how much it is. Everybody knows that when there's a 50 on the side, that stack is a fat stack of cash.
Can I point out that a recently established Old Republic credits look like bits of gold? So that's something you would have in the safe. And also, Skeleton Crew is cool.
Yeah, he does not have Republic credits in here. It's real money. This is a real active safe rather than somewhere you would put some of your most valuable artifacts. Because all of his most valuable artifacts are in the glass cases around and on the table and stuff like that. This is clearly, he doesn't care that much to put those in the safe because they're in these things to display, but he does want to keep his birth certificate in there,
Yeah, almost certainly. And the big thing will probably be there is almost certainly a vault underneath the house.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't drink as much wine as he used to because a lot of the wine cellar isn't the wine cellar anymore. But yes, you pull that out there. I'm going to go back to Ed, and you hear the growing slightly louder drone of your companion. And after maybe a minute and a half or so, you see it coming to you through the storm, lightning highlighting it as it reaches and comes closer.
As soon as she lands against the backdrop of the lightning, what could be me being savage, but it's in fact me actually feeding some honey lumps to the bee.
She grumbles at you. She's not happy. She's not happy at all.
Grab the reins, which are there mostly for like security, not for steering, and lead Apidae partially into cover.
Yeah.
Because there's a storm outside.
You break her into the solarium. The wind picks up as you come back in and close the doors.
Close the doors. Again, Apidae has a very distinctive smell which permeates across the room. And I immediately want to make some kind of calming sounds, get them to stay exactly where they are. And I start looking around, saying, right, I should not hang around, but there's some things that I'll need. And I would like to make a search check, if that's okay.
Yeah, do yourself a perception. 2 dice, no bonuses.
1 success, 2 crowd advantage.
Okay, well, what are you looking for?
I am looking for anything that I might need to take away with me and anything that I can use to draw the creatures to me. So I would like to grab some dry paper that isn't important. I'm going to suggest that I find a stack of like some newspaper. Maybe he reads a Weird Tales magazine and just like...
You can do if you like, but he does have paper for writing. It is a desk and it's got pens, papers and stuff like that in it. So you can just have blank paper if you wish.
Grab some blank paper and possibly firelighters if there's a fireplace. Grab that. Look around the boxes, the artifacts, and see if there's anything that is like a cannon or a gun or a grenade. Don't care what it is, it just needs to go bang.
I'm going to say this to all of you because with all the successes and the like, you will all have an idea about what's going on. In this room, in the cabinets, one of them has a kind of a small circular metal device with etchings on it in gold. It's in a cabinet by itself. The cabinet's quite large. It's quite small. There is a weapons rack where there are a couple of carbines and a couple of ancient guns and a dagger just resting on the side of it.
I'll grab the small, portable, precious-looking thing and the dagger because it's small and portable. I will be very clear that I'm not on the rob. Essentially, it's like grabbing these things. Let me know if you want me to leave them.
Right you are, Captain.
Just like putting stuff into a satchel, and then I'll take the scariest looking gun and go, this'll go bang, yes?
Mm-hmm. There is a blaster pistol as well as the 2 carbines as well.
I'll take the pistol.
Okay. It's old, it looks tarnished, but it looks to be in working order. And even more worryingly, it looks to have a full power pack in it. So it is good to go.
I think size reaction is going to be similar to the glare he was receiving from Arca a moment ago, which was, you're in a burning house. I think you can take what you need.
Yeah.
Are there any books you want me to take? I'll take a quick look around as well and see if there's anything that I...
You have saddlebags. You could probably take 5 or 6 important books.
I will fill up on stuff that looks useful, that we might need.
Can I assist of the things which I know are the most valuable things, or, if not the most valuable, then the ones that LaRue uses the most often, the ones that he, really enjoys or is into, or the ones that might have personal value over monetary value?
I would like you both to roll. I'd like Ed to roll a law check, so Ed can work out if things are valuable as he's doing it. You might not have a great deal of dice in it, don't worry too much. And if Lou, if you could roll a perception check so for the memory of people using the things more specifically, and we'll see if they match up.
Assuming difficulty 2, I get 1 success.
Forgot the R that time.
2 successes. So it kind of coincides, and between yourselves, you pick things that, Ed, you find are possibly valuable because of the lore to them, whereas, Lou, if you put things in that LaRue really needed to see and has been looking at recently, and you get maybe 6 to 8 books into there, or stacks of paper into the saddlebags, but you're quietly confident in the fact that these might be useful or valuable. Other than those, there is a place where there are shards that glowing slightly blue. There are about 5 or 6 of them, and they're placed in a way that mean that maybe LaRue was like, these should go together like this in one of the things. There is a palm-sized metallic sphere on the desk, dull and corroded, but it is just sitting there like a big paperweight. Another glass case with some more fragments in them. They're translucent and they don't glow. And then some blaster rifles. I mean, if you had time, there's a lot more in here, but...
I would like to get the glowy stuff. If I just, like, sweep it into, like, a little bag.
Yep.
Yeah, the stuff which I know is easily transportable and valuable. And then I would like to pick up as many weapons as I can, or throw a blaster carbine over to Savriel.
Yeah. There are only 2 carbines and the gun which the captain has already picked up, but there is also a dagger on there as well.
I've already scooped up the dagger and put it in the bag.
Oh, have you? I would say, as you scoop up the dagger, it looks to be a blade of blackened steel, hilt wrapped in leather. It has the runes on it going down. They're not glowing, they're just inked with red, so it's like a black and red, proper goth knife. When you pick it up, you can feel static electricity, is probably the best way of describing it. It's an odd feeling, it is, and somewhat of power, but only kind of a little bit static sort of thing.
In which case it'll have gone into his personal satchel with a little bit of tape that says hazardous material, like the other artifact I as soon as it feels weird, I put on a sticker on it that says this is weird, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Right, so if the fancy weapons, the captain's picked up the dagger.
Captain has the dagger and the blaster pistol.
Yeah, there are 2 carbines. I think Lou is going to pick them up, and if you don't...
Yeah, so you're going to have one of them. I'm going to hold the other one. Well, I'm just going to strap it on as a spare.
I'll pick one. I'll sling it because I'm at the minute I'm keeping the weapon I'm familiar with drawn. But
these are 2 identical rifles. The line of the barrel has got strange cooling vents all up it, which you don't obviously get with combustion weapons. And engraved on the side of it, it says Republic Experimental Division, Cancelled Project 227. You have collected all of your things. Your mount has satchel bags full of books. You are tooled out with weapons and various different artifacts. And Lou, you have the deeds to the house, the diary, and a load of other important real-world things for LaRue.
Godspeed, Captain.
Sun and moon. And he mounts and kicks off.
Okay.
It's going to be a very short hop because I'm going to get onto the lawn.
Yep.
And then dump the fuel because, like, I'm overloaded right now because I've got to book the fuel.
Yeah.
Dump the fuel, and then I'm like, my load is right. Make loads and loads of noise. Get the lure out again and make a massive sound.
Okay.
Make sure the artifact is secure.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the box. I'm going to do something stupid.
Okay. Well, up until that point, everything you've said happens. You get to the lawn. You make sure everything's secure. Are you starting making noise before you do this stupid thing or after?
Start making noise before I do this stupid thing.
Okay. So you start bellowing. Is there anything else that you...
Yes, so I've dumped a load of fuel, and as I fly away, the plan is to light it.
You know it's in a storm, right? I'm not sure that's going to...
Yeah, you are being lashed with rain at the moment.
Yeah, so have I drawn any attention to myself?
It's not immediate, but you have made a lot of noise. You are fighting against the storm. Nothing seems to be coming towards you yet.
Pointing it away from myself.
Yep.
The box with the artifact in.
Yep.
The tiniest of opens.
Mm-hmm.
Open it slightly.
As you do it, thunder cracks and rolls. It's just a coincidence, but it is freaky as hell. There is a silence after the thunder, and you know you're being watched.
Yeah, close it, bind it, secure it, launch.
Okay.
And as I fly away, a single blaster point to the pile of fuel.
Okay. I'm going to treat piles of fuel in the same way that we do Star Wars door logic. So as you fly away, you reach behind you, aim at the fuel on the floor, take one shot, and there is a woof as the fuel ignites in an almost instant bonfire. It won't last very long because it'll burn off very quickly, but at the moment there is a fire raging outside. Incidentally, now you're outside, you can see that the dining room is very on fire.
I'm moving slowly, by the way. I'm hovering and moving because my point is to get them to follow me and then to whisk myself away. I'm not just like, kicking my motorbike and leaving the adventure being the only person to survive. That's not the goal. The goal is to get them to come to me.
It's look at me, I'm a target.
Adam, is there anything else you want to do while in the kitchen? Everybody is kind of getting into their role. Mrs. Tolvin and the captain have moved up to the door and they're discussing how they're going to open the door so they don't get in each other's way. So it's like you do the bolt, I'll step through, that sort of thing. Lady Vale has stepped in line behind you and is basically acting as a cheering squad for you while you talk to people. You seemingly are working quite well together, which is odd for two people of completely different churches, but panic and despair kind of brings people together. The one thing that is a problem is not really knowing how to get LaRue mobile. He can be picked up between arms, but he is quite slow.
I think what I'm going to be doing is helping him get up with the doctor, and then I'm going to give him my staff of office, which I use as my crutch, because I am also quite slow. I've got quite a limp, but I can at least limp at speed without my crutch if I absolutely have to.
Yes.
Especially if I'm also getting a little bit of support from Lady Vale, whereas LaRue is not used to being in this sort of state. So he will need that additional support a lot more than I will for the moment. I'll be dragging my leg and kind of limping badly, but I can at least probably move a bit quicker than him, so I will let him lean on my staff of office. Because I imagine that where we are, there's no walking sticks or anything like that in the kitchen or anything easily usable. So yeah, I'll let him use my staff of office, make sure that the doctor is on his other arm to help support him and carry him along. But other than that...
It does occur to me, Adam, if you want to spend a light side point, there can be something in there that could be of use.
It's our last light side point, so I want to save it for in case things get really clutch. So...
Okay.
At the moment, no. I'm prepared to risk it for a biscuit, but outside of getting everybody ready to go, I don't think there is. I'm basically priming the pump so that as soon as Koro and Savriel get back down and give us the nod, we can go.
If it helps, Adam, I'm going to spend a dark side point now so you've got a little bit extra, because as you are planning to get everything all sorted, there is an audible as you hear something in the hallway catching light, and smoke starts to push its way under the cracks in the door from the kitchen to the hall.
Again, I think Rikeo takes a breath and makes the kind of universal gesture for calm down. Our friends will be down very soon. This just means we are going to have to move quicker than originally planned. Just one moment, and I'm going to go over to the pantry door and I'm going to open it and shout up the stairs. How much longer, my friends? We are very much on a time scale here.
I think to bind everybody back together, you guys get to the tops of the stairs as he is doing that, unless there is anything else you want to do in the room before you leave.
No,
I think, we'll one last, quick scan just to check I've not left anything behind majorly important.
Okay. You bring yourself down, so you get yourself to the top of the stairs, and you hear the shout. Making your way down into the kitchen, it looks like the house is properly on fire now. There is smoke, not billowing, but creeping under the kitchen door. It looks like there is a proper fire going on somewhere in there. But, Adam, you see that the captain is no longer with them, so it probably went successfully.
Come on, boys and girls, it's time to move.
Yeah.
The captain is giving us a distraction.
Okay. As we discussed, everybody, remain calm, check on your neighbour and your partners, make sure that we are all together, stick with your buddies, and Captain, Mrs. Tolvin, on your mark.
Weirdly, the captain goes from Mrs. Tolman's nod. So she makes a nod, the bolt is pulled back, the door is open, and they step out, not dashing, but step out with a level of self-assurity that somebody who knows how they're handling themselves would do, with guns out. They've never worked together in a combat situation before, but they seemingly do very well, because the captain, with his pistol, is checking the one side, whereas she checks the other side as you make your way out into the courtyard.
As they start moving, I'm going to quickly turn to Koro and Savriel and say, you weren't here for the discussions. Koro, could you please assist the doctor on making sure that Lambert gets away from here? He is weak at the moment. My Northland friend, I'm afraid I didn't catch your name, but can you please cover our rear? You have the longest arms here and clearly know how to handle yourself in situations of stress. I would be much more comfortable if you could work rearguard while the rest of the column moves out.
Savriel nods and just says, Savriel.
Nice to meet you, Savriel.
But other than that, he's keeping words to a minimum, and he's just looking around, automatically covering his particular his assigned arc.
Lou, Lambert is now using Adam's staff to support himself, and the doctor and Lambert are they're bringing him to their feet so he can be moved. It looks like he's still fairly beaten up, but he is able to move at a slow walk with yours and the doctor's help. You break through into the lashing rain of the storm. You don't see Captain Heek and his ride and his mount, but you know he's gone, or you assume he's gone. The lightning crashes as you push your way out into the just sheets of rain. There is, as you make your way out, quite clearly a fire going on the other side of the house. You can smell it. You can't quite feel the heat because of the rain, but you can see the light from the other side of the house dancing. Up ahead of you, probably about 200-300 yards away, there is the hangar that keeps the airship in it, and also the lights to the house. It seems like not a distance at all, unless you're trying to get through crowds upon crowds upon crowds of angry, vicious amphibians. You push on regardless. It's going to be a push, and not all of you are up to the challenge. Let's see if we can make it as a team. And that's where I'm going to end it for this week.
But wait, before we leave you today, this episode's patron is Spencer. Spencer has been recruited by friend of the show and occasional guest voice Riley. So well done there, Riley. I appreciate it. Welcome to the family, Spencer. It is lovely to have you on board. Glad that you're enjoying the show, and hope that you're enjoying the new season as well. You wonderful person, you. Speaking of enjoying the season, thank you very much, Mikey, for running. Thank you very much to my fellow players for joining me on this, and thank you very much to you, our listeners and backers, for being here with us as we uncover the doom that came to Sanctaris. Stay tuned, and we will continue unravelling this mystery and seeing if we can survive next time. Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceMajeurePod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ForceMajeurePod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.can. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.